It's lit. It's staying lit. Okay. We know that Christ's light is always there. That spark is always within us and can never be snuffed out. Even if the symbol that represents it can be. I think it's going. Our affirmation this morning is, I say yes to adjusting my behaviors to my beliefs. So take that in for a moment before you say it, because once you speak it, it's yours. And it's a big one to claim. So take a breath in. And together, I say yes to adjusting my behaviors to my beliefs. And welcome to Unity of Mesa, where we empower, energize, and enlighten one another. I guess we enlighten, empower, and energize each other to... Let me try this all again. It's just been one of those days this morning. Welcome to Unity of Mesa. It's even written down and I can't get it. Where we enlighten, empower, and energize one another to uplift our world through a greater expression of God. I'm Reverend Judy Hildebrand, and today joining me are Candy Lewis on platform and leading meditation. Kenya Cribb, who you just met, was and is our board member of the day. And our music team are Dennis and Stephen. And we invite them to start us in song.
All right, you guys ready to sing? I don't know if you're allowed to. Are they allowed to sing yet? Okay, to pretend you're singing. But if you want to stand up, join us. We're going to... Come on, stand up. It's okay. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. We are one with the power. We are one. We are one. We are one with the presence. We are one. We are one. We are one with the power. We are one with the presence. We are one with each other. We are one. Yes, we are one. We are one in the Spirit. We are one. We are one. We are one in the stillness. We are one. We are one. We are one with the Spirit. We are one in the stillness. We are one with each other. We are one. Yes, we are one. We are all beloved children of same divine creation. We are makers and co-makers. We are one. We are one. We are one with our brothers. We are one. We are one. We are one with the sisters. We are one. We are one. We are one with our brothers. We are one with our sisters. We are one with each other. We are one. Yes, we are one. One more time. We are one with our brothers. We are one with our sisters. We are one with each other. We are one. Yes, we are one. Woo!
Good morning. Well, for those of us who like to sing, that's kind of torture to say, sing along, but you can't sing along. So I'm sorry if any of you heard me singing. Well, I have a few things that you should know. We have new office and bookstore hours. Beginning this week, we'll be open Tuesdays and Thursdays, 12 to 3 p.m. And this afternoon, parents and teens are invited to meet with Reverends Kathy and Judy to talk about reopening our youth ministry and nursery here at the church. These are all Zoom meetings, with nursery meeting at 12:30, children's ministry at 1, and teens at 2. Sign up at unityofmesa.org for the Zoom link. And Reverend Judy will share more on what will be discussed in a little bit. Next Sunday is Generational Sunday. Join Gen X as they share their message, meditation, and their music. If you are a millennial, and would like to be a part of the September generational service, contact Reverend Judy. And please consider it. It's so much fun, and we love sharing and hearing from the different generations and different viewpoints. This Saturday, Finding Purpose and Patterns begins. Sign up in the bookstore if you're here, or online if you're watching from home. You can find more detailed class info, Zoom links, and much more on our website, unityofmesa.org's Things for You to Know page. Thank you all for sharing your love and light with us this morning. Please know that your soul is welcome here. And now, let's share our guiding statement to remind us why we come together. Say with me, we are here to experience more of the fullness of who we truly are in order to transform our world. All are welcome here.
So I'm going to invite us all to just take a deep breath in so I can pull myself together. Thank you. All right, so I'm doing a little bit about youth. And what I wanted to share with you this morning was from Myrtle Fillmore. So Myrtle and Charles Fillmore are the founders of Unity. I would say Charles was the head, Myrtle was the heart, and together they created an amazing belief system that, am I on? Okay, an amazing belief system. And Myrtle was very concerned about the youth, very concerned. Matter of fact, when they built their first church, their first temple, they had only so much money, and it wasn't enough for all of it. And she made sure that the children's ministry building was built before the church for the adults. And her belief about children, I haven't figured out how to keep this on. Okay, her belief about children was that our mission was not to entertain the children, but instead to draw them out. We needed to use relevant course material in a safe and nurturing environment. We give the children the opportunity to find the spiritual principle instead of being spoon-fed. And so in our youth ministry program, that is what we do. We have stories, we have activities, all to let the kids explore what is God. How do they experience God? What is truth? What is true for them all the time? Not just when they're with their best friend, or when they're being bullied, or when life is wonderful, or when life is horrible. What is truth all the time? And the program is amazing. The curriculum is amazing. And we've got a couple of teachers in here who have supported them over the years. And I think they have found that it has deepened their journey drastically as they've moved through life. And I find that sometimes I pull from the lessons of Sunday morning in church with the adults, but usually when I'm really in the struggle, I turn to the lessons and the language that I used when I was teaching the youth. It is simple, it is clear, it is not confusing, and it is always challenging. And so here at Unity of Mesa, we are working and looking at how to safely bring our kids back into community. During the last 18 months, the little ones have just had opportunities to do stories at home, and Kathy has been preparing lessons, and they've been online for the families to access. The teens have been supported by the regional consultant, Angie Keys. So each region in Unity, and we are in the Southwest region, we cover Southern California and Southern Nevada, sometimes St. George, Utah, if there's a church there, and then all of Arizona. And at one point or another, Mark, Kathy, and I have all been regional consultants for youth programs. And to have Angie take on our teens has been huge. So they have met every Sunday morning on Zoom as a regional group. Some have stayed with it the whole time, some have fallen off. We've got a couple who have stayed with it most of the time. And then on Thursday evenings, they meet again on Zoom and they play games. So they have had connection, and as one of the teens told me the other week, she said, I've gotten to know the other teens from California in a way I never would have if we had just been meeting here. So it's been that same thing we've experienced, blessings and not so great things, but the blessings in this for them have been a deeper connection with children and other teens, other peers from farther away. But at this point, as California churches are going back, and as most of Arizona churches, we're planning on going back. We'll see what happens within the next couple of weeks here. But we are going to look at opening up our teen program this September. And we're looking at doing it a little bit differently, possibly. Looking at maybe twice a month. They're over in the other building. But at one point, that other building became like 10 miles away. And we became very separated. And the kids said they don't know any of you guys unless you were one who served them over there. And so we're looking at how we shift that, because the teens are part of our community and they're an important part. And that's part of our responsibility as the adults in the community. If we want the church to continue beyond our time, it is really important that we bring children up through that system. So we're going to look at some other ways. And you may find next week that as the millennials who have the children, as the millennials do the service, that their interest may be on doing something just a little bit different to introduce and bring in the children. And it may be something simple. And so I'm going to hint at it. The kids, they get to say when they go into the room how they want to be greeted. And it may be with an elbow, maybe with a hand slap, maybe with a silly smile, something like that. So you may be invited to greet each other in a different way. You know what? It's fun. Please participate, whatever shows up next week. I'm just guessing that might be part of it. All right, and so now I've given you just a little bit of history about the youth ministry program and where we're going, where we hope to be going. We invite you to hold that in prayer for us. And hold that in prayer today as we meet and talk with parents and with the teens themselves to see what they really want, what they're willing to support. So prayers would be nice. And I invite Candy to come up for, Candy to come up for meditation.
All get comfortable, settle in your chairs or wherever you're seated. Remove anything from your lap. Let your hands rest in your lap. And when you're ready, close your eyes. And imagine a beautiful golden light above your head that slowly moves down your face, down your neck and your shoulders, relaxing you and bringing you into a beautiful, peaceful state as it moves slowly down your arms, into your hands and fingers, down your chest and down your legs, down into your feet and your toes, connecting you with the earth and with the cosmos. And as you relax into this comfortable state, let yourself tune into the awareness that you are more than one separate being. We find ourselves living in the practice of separateness, yet on a soul level, we know there is a oneness of everything. On a soul level, let yourself breathe safely and comfortably into this awareness of oneness, with no boundaries or separation. You still exist as the being you are. In fact, there are many possible versions of this being within you, and they all connect to the whole, to spirit, to the universe, to God. Allow yourself to sit comfortably within this energy as we move into silent meditation. As you slowly return to the room, moving your fingers and toes, stretching your arms and legs, returning to the being you are in this moment, in this life, bring with you the understanding that although we appear to live these separate lives, on a soul level, we are one. And when you're ready, if you've not already done so, open your eyes.
You standing up? Just come up here and join me. Okay. All right. When I was a boy, each week on Sunday we would go to church, pay attention to the priest. He would read the holy word and consecrate the holy bread, and everyone would kneel and bow. Today the only difference is everything is holy now. Everything is holy now. And when I was in Sunday school, we would learn about the time Moses split the rock in two, Jesus made the water wine. And I remember feeling sad that miracles don't happen still, but now I can't keep track, 'cause everything's a miracle. Everything's a miracle. Wine from Nala is what's so small, but even better magic trick is that anything is here at all. So the challenging thing becomes not to look for miracles, but finding where there isn't one. And when the holy water was rare at best, it barely made my fingertips, but now I have to hold my breath like I'm swimming in a sea of it. It used to be a world half there, heaven made hand me down, but I walk it with a reverent air, 'cause everything is holy now. Read a questioning child's face and say it's not a testament. That'd be very hard to say. See another new morning come, say it's not a sacrament. I tell you that it can't be done. This morning outside I stood and saw a little red-winged bird shining like a burning bush, singing like a scripture verse. Maybe one with no my head. Remember when church let out? Now things have changed since then. Everything is holy now. It used to be a world half there, heaven second rate hand me down. Now I walk it with a reverent air. Everything is holy now. Everything is holy now. Everything is holy now.
And everything is holy now. On a soul level, according to Catherine Quiche, on a soul level, energies dance like a kaleidoscope of realities. On a soul level, we share layers of our being with others. On a soul level, constant shifts are mixing in you. On a soul level, many realities are being stitched together. On a soul level, we are all intertwined energetically. On a soul level, an interdimensional matrix, a universal transformation. So we're going to repeat our affirmation again. Let me affirm it first, and just listen with your heart and your gut to the words. Then we'll affirm it together. The affirmation is, I say yes to adjusting my behaviors to my beliefs. Feel it. And let's say it together. I say yes to adjusting my behaviors to my beliefs. Anybody have this little wobble inside them as they said that, like, maybe I don't want to? Maybe I don't want to. And I think that adjusting our behaviors to our beliefs is a step-by-step process. And one year we may take 2 or 3 steps forward. The next year we may take a step backwards. I don't know if I want to do this. But it's a huge piece to adjust our behaviors to what we proclaim and what we know we believe. In the book, 1 Degree South of God, they write about their life as a spirit. They write about our lives being a spiritual practice that becomes effortless when we allow ourselves to know the grandness of Source at the core of our being. That part of us which needs to be discovered more than taught. I think that's what Myrtle Fillmore said we needed to do with the children. Let them discover it. Today is our chance for discovery. So on a soul level, energies dance like a kaleidoscope of realities. Think of your day as a kaleidoscope. What does the energy of your day look like? What do the realities of your day show up as the energies all dance together? So I look at this past Friday was Friday the 13th, yes. My day started with a phone call at 2:30 in the morning from the church. And we have a groundskeeper, and she was calling to say, Judy, I need some help. It was 2:30 in the morning, Andrea, go to bed. But she said, I need some help. We have the police here. We called them, and they need to know if we are going to press charges. We had a gentleman who was not being very gentlemanly, and he had removed most of his clothes, if not all of them, and was trying to pound down the doors and the windows over in the annex to get inside. And I said, well, Andrea, the church can't press the charges, but you can, and you need to know that sometimes when we do press charges that it is that drop into the bottom that they may need to get the help that they need in order to change behaviors. And talk to the police officer, pull him aside, ask him, will it help you do your job if we press charges, or will it be easier to let this one go? And so she did press charges. I woke up again after getting back to sleep about a half an hour later. I woke up again about 4:45, which is still in that 3 to 5 o'clock window for meditation. So 3 to 5 o'clock is when the veil is supposed to be the thinnest. It's when the world around you is the quietest, the least amount of traffic, least amount of energy being dispersed and moved around. And so it is the best time of the day to do meditation, actually. There's not as many external energy interferences. So I did some meditation, had a little bit of food, delightful food that morning, did a strenuous yoga practice, and then did some spiritual study, then went and taught a chair yoga class, which I just love. I love teaching people closer to my age instead of the youngins, and had a blast doing that. I checked in here, picked up some things I needed, and left some other things for the staff here, and then I went home. I visited my mom and made sure she had some smiles on her face while I was there. She's in memory care, for those who don't know. And then I went home. I repeated 2 phone calls from the day before. Sometimes when we call our government officials, we don't get the service we probably should be receiving. Those of you who have been on hold for hours at a time and then are told, well, we can't help you. you don't have the information you need. So I decided I would try again. And so I did those 2 phone calls and got completely different people who were more than willing to assist me and stay on the line with me till I had the correct form on my laptop up and ready to go, and told me exactly which lines to fill in. So Social Security is done, and Arizona Tax Commission for tax whatever for the church is done and ready to go. And I worked on the talk, I answered emails, created emails, made some phone calls, finished some tasks on my to-do list. I had a healthy meal. I actually took a walk with my neighbor who we've known each other for 20 years, and I haven't seen her or talked to her for 3 weeks because I've been busy. I did some more work for the church and chilled out and went to bed. And when I look at the kaleidoscope of the energies that danced through the day and what it created in the realities, it was a delightful day. Even though at 2:30 in the morning, I had some doubts about what it would turn out like. But it was this delightful, beautiful day. And everything I did that day was in alignment with my beliefs. And so the energies just flowed easily. There weren't wobbles in the energy. So on a soul level, we share layers of our being with others. Either consciously or unconsciously, we share our beliefs and behaviors with others, don't we? Sometimes our behaviors match our beliefs, but sometimes they're completely opposite. Have any of you ever experienced acting completely opposite from your belief? Like maybe when you're driving, and you believe all people are holy, all people are divine, and darn it, he cut me off, right? Where's our behavior in that? And how often, I've got something that's just bouncing here. How often are our behaviors not in alignment with our beliefs? When that happens, energetically within us, we create wobbles. So wobble sounds kind of like the thumping that I've got going on with my mic. It sounds like the static on a phone call. That's a wobble in the energy. And we create wobbles within our own body, energetically, when we do not have behavior that's in alignment with beliefs. And we're going to hit a big one later on and see how that works for you. So when I started my walk on the Camino, that spiritual sacred walk 2 years ago in Portugal and Spain to this chapel where somebody was buried, and pilgrims have been doing it for centuries. And I went for this spiritual journey. I was told by the company that set up my lodging arrangements that I would get lost on my journey, but I would come back. And I just looked and I thought, I'm not going to get lost. I've got a map, sort of. You gave me a map, right? And I went, I'm not going to get lost. Well, I did get lost. Physically, I got lost almost every day in spite of the map. And spiritually, what I thought was going to be this breeze of a trip took me to the depths of my spiritual questioning. There were a couple of days where every step I questioned. I questioned God. I questioned being a minister. I questioned the church. I questioned the church big time every time I passed another church. So I was lost. I was totally lost. And in that being lost and being willing to empty it out, to claim it, to say it, I'm lost. I finally, about the fourth night, called the lodging and transportation company and said, I'm lost. I need help. He said, oh, well, you can put the app on your phone and it'll show you every place you're supposed to be every day. Every step it will show you. Well, it did, but it took me another week and a half to figure out how to use it correctly. But anyway, so I still continued to get lost. And even after I had it, I got lost. And even after I figured it out. But in that getting lost, I found my way to my beliefs. And I found my way to change some behaviors to be in alignment with my beliefs so the wobble was gone. And maybe that's all the purpose we need in life, is to discover our beliefs and create our behaviors to be in alignment with it. And I'm sure you've all experienced someone where you go, their energy doesn't feel right. Everybody had that? Yeah, it's just kind of, that energy doesn't feel right. Usually it's because their beliefs and their energy, their behaviors, their beliefs and their behaviors are this far apart, creating this wobble in their energy. On a soul level, constant shifts are mixing in you. So I've cleared most of my belief system at this point through the seeking and questioning and releasing those beliefs that are no longer supporting me. And I have more freedom to be who I have come here to be. I have the courage and the desire now to live my beliefs. And I would say the dramatic change was really embodying that first principle of unity. There's one presence, one power, God, the omnipotence, omniscience, present everywhere, all powerful, all knowing. I am created of that God, but I am not God in the entirety of God. So it's like the ocean. If the ocean is God, it symbolically is God. The wave is me. I can't be taken out of God, but I'm not God in its entirety. But I move in, through, and as with God. So I'm the wave. And then the fifth principle is I walk my talk. That means when I have a belief, I walk that belief. And if I'm one with God, then I know I am one with everyone and everything, because there's no place that God is not. There's no one that God is not within. And if I take that in completely, that means I am one with everything. So the focal point of my big experience in Spain was that oneness. And if I am one with everything, what do I do with that? So I'm walking along, I'm in Portugal, I'm on the coast. The fisherman comes out of the ocean with his skin suit, his skin's on from diving, and he's got a net with the octopus in it. Some of you have heard my story. And he comes up to his car, and I'm looking, I'm excited. I see the octopus, and I've had an octopus experience in Fiji the spring before when I was volunteering with a marine biologist there. And I see the octopus. I'm kind of excited for the guy because it was a good haul for him. And he took off in his car, and I trudging along. And I get to the next town where I'm staying for the night. I'm walking through town looking for a dinner. And there in the restaurant window is the big plated glass window with the wood table with the ice on it with the octopus on it. And of course, by the time I got done that evening, I had octopus on my plate. And I'd eaten it before and really enjoyed it. It's the delicacy in Portugal, and it's their main, it's what they're known for is octopus. And I couldn't hardly swallow it. It got caught in my throat. That's interesting. And 2 or 3 days later, I'm at a hotel, and no one speaks English there by that time of the day. There's no one left who speaks any English, so I just order the special, whatever it is. I'd left my phone in the room, so I didn't have my translator. And they bring out this beautifully plated plate with this gorgeous flounder on it, with 2 eyeballs looking at me. And I saw French fries going past on a waiter's tray, and I just started crying, going, I can't eat it. I can't eat it. And I walked out of the room. I couldn't eat it. And it was at that point that I knew I couldn't eat another sentient being if I really and truly believed we are all one. So it was then that I started my journey into being a vegan. I will say I'm not 100% vegan, but I am very, very careful to not eat anything that has eyeballs with it. Before it was killed or after, either way. And you know what? I don't miss eating other beings. Whether they had 2 or more eyeballs or not, I don't miss that. I feel better about my place in life and the matrix that I am in with all beings. And it's been a huge change, a little bit difficult because I have to figure out how to cook differently. I have to figure out how to get my protein. And it was a little bit of a challenge that first year. I can't imagine not doing this anymore because it feels right. I feel like a wobble, a big wobble that was in me is no longer there. And there is more peace because I'm not wobbling. On a soul level, many realities are being stitched together. So if we look back historically, I know we talk about living in the present, but there are times to look back but not become attached. And so we look back, there have been other pandemics. And, I remember being a child when polio came through. And how many of you remember lining up in your elementary school to get the polio vaccine, right? Yeah, so there have been other pandemics, and we will, I believe we will as society make it through this one. But we've got looking at some of our beliefs and some of our behaviors to do to support us in that, I think. And I believe that the historical realities and our current realities are being woven together, and the thread that is weaving them is our behavior. And so where do we want it to go? What do we want it to look like? We get to create it. And this is the time in which we really see our true nature as the whole world is a global stress level. How are we behaving as a world? How are we treating each other as countries? How are we treating each other as different races, different belief systems? So it's a time for us to stop and look at what are we doing? Are we doing what we believe in? And on a soul level, we are all entwined energetically. When I was in Spain, there was a young lady who was here in the United States. Her name was Greta Thunberg. She was very vocal about her beliefs and believed in living them. So she was here that fall on her way down to Chile to the UN Climate Change Symposium. And they canceled the symposium and moved it to Spain. And so she needed to get back to Spain in order to do her presentation. And she had a belief. Her belief is that we have too much carbon in the air and we need to reduce the carbon footprint. And jets produce a disproportional amount of carbon footprint. And therefore she would not fly. So it was the worst time of the year to cross the Atlantic. She found a young family with a sailboat who offered to make sure she got across. So she traveled back to the East Coast, I believe, by train, because that was her preferred method of travel. And we all know how long train travel takes in the United States. And she got on the boat, and she knew she get seasickness. So she spent a significant part of that really rough journey, and it was a rough journey. They encountered many storms, below deck, just throwing up the whole time. But she knew that was what was going to happen. But her belief in reducing the carbon footprint was so strong that she was not willing to get on a jet at that point to make the trip easier for her. So where do we stop in our struggle with this is too difficult and I don't care what my belief is? Some of us do it all the time, like most of us. I don't think any of us are better than any other. I'd much rather take my car, or I'd much rather take a plane than drive 15 hours in a car myself. And my rationalization of that is, well, it's already flying and there's an empty seat, so I might as well get on it, right? And I usually fly standby because my spouse worked for the airline, so I'm able to do that. So it is true, an empty seat would be going if I wasn't in that seat. But there are times I go, would I be willing to take a 3-day train trip, because that's what it would take to get to where I need to go next, instead of an hour and a half flight? I don't know. I'm not sure how much my belief is, but I know that there's a wobble there. And I get to decide what to do with it. And our last one, on a soul level, an interdimensional matrix, a universal transformation. So I ran across this term in Spain and have been working with it ever since. It's a Sanskrit word, and it is ahimsa. It is a core part of Hinduism, Buddhism, and Jainism. It is a word that means non-injury, not causing harm to beings and things. And I was talking to Karen, who's in her process of, it's a 3-year program, correct, Karen? 2-year program with the Buddhist tradition, and to become a chaplain, an ordained chaplain with them. And she said she's having to work with these 8 limbs also, these 8 truths. And she said, yeah, it's hard. When you start to explore it, it's difficult. So ahimsa sounds so simple, no injury. I have never hurt you, have I, Becca? Never come up with Becca? No. Yeah, I don't go out and hit people anymore. I used to, but I don't anymore. I used to fight, yeah. So I don't anymore. You know, I've changed that. I've changed that behavior to be in alignment with my belief a little bit. But when the teacher, the group I was in, she said, but where do you harm yourself? Think of today. Think of the start of your day. At what point today did you do harm to yourself? Like maybe lounging in bed an extra 15 minutes and then being late all the way through the rest of the morning and not put together when you got here. When maybe I chose to put 2 pieces of fruit in my breakfast, which overloaded my sugar, which made me go, woo. Maybe when I stayed up half an hour after I was done with the talk last night and just kind of piddled around, but it was midnight. How often do we harm ourselves? And there are times when we unintentionally harm others. Sometimes we have very little choice. So as a leader of the church, sometimes I have to make decisions that I know will not benefit everybody, but will benefit the majority. That is in the best interest of the majority, is in the best interest of the community, but I know there will be a few individuals that it will not be in their best interest. So I deliberately make that decision knowing that there is some level of immediate harm being done. That doesn't mean it's not their journey to walk, but I still get to make those decisions. But I try to do it with the least amount of harm as possible. And I've tried to live that for the last 10 or 20 years, but didn't realize it consciously. And so now I'm very conscious of it. And I'm very conscious of when I am doing harm to myself. Because if I'm harming myself, my behavior is not in alignment with my belief, and I create that energetic wobble. And life is not as peaceful, life is not as easy. Yoga has been my greatest teacher. I grew up so competitive, became very competitive in my adult years. And when I got into yoga, and it's your practice, no one else is in the room, and there are no comparisons. And I know the teacher I had at the time, who continues to be my teacher, I never hear her say that anymore, but she said it every time I was in class for like 2 years. I'm going, she must have known that I was peaking. Oh, I can bend farther than that person. Oh, I can get my foot higher than that person. Oh, yeah. And it was that needing to compare. I don't do it anymore. I don't even know there's anyone else in the room besides the voice of the teacher and myself, except for when I fall over and I realize that I kind of distracted somebody else, so they fall over too. But it's been a great teacher to be aware of my body and to go, oh, It's okay, my foot's not going to go all the way up over my head today. It just isn't going to happen. Oh, but look, it happened on this leg. That's nice. But no judgment. It just is what it is. And I allow. And can we do that in life? When we get into it with family, can we know it just is what it is? It's not personal. Can we allow it to move through and embrace it and love it so that it circles back in such a way that it can be worked with? And are you, at this point, in the interdimensional matrix that we are stitching and weaving together, are you hiding out, buried under multiple layers, feeling kind of cozy and comfortable with your beliefs and disconnected behaviors? Or are you ready to explore your beliefs, become the needle and the thread that's weaving, and start to create a different matrix? Start to create something different because you have added to the weaving. I recommend that you try at least once a month saying yes to something you have not said yes to before. It may be saying yes to not putting yourself down for a whole day. It may be saying yes to meditation every day for a week. It may be saying yes to smiling at that person you're really mad at. It may be saying yes to the little kid who cuts in line in front of you when we open up hospitality and children, and cuts in line in front of you because they didn't have breakfast. It's now almost 12 o'clock and they are ravenous. And you just smile and say, can I help you put something else on your plate if you need it? So it's looking at all of those things. What are the little things you can say yes to? And as you say yes to the little things, it gets easier to say yes to the bigger things. And if you're really interested, we're going to work with some of this in the Finding Purpose and Patterns workshop that starts next week. You can sign up in the bookstore. So for today, I invite you to walk in peace this week, knowing you only have 2 things that you really have to do to make your life better right now. You need to breathe in and know you are breathing in. You need to breathe out and know in that moment you are breathing out. And so when you're feeling stressed, when you're feeling the wobble, when you're not sure if your behavior is in alignment with your belief because you're not even sure what your belief is at the moment, because at some point we all are not sure what our belief is. We need to seek, we need to look. And I think this is a time during this pandemic that our beliefs are stretched, right? We know on a bigger level maybe that the soul continues, that it's a soul choice to leave, and da-da-da-da-da-da-da. But darn it, that was my best friend's son. That one was my best friend's granddaughter. That one was da-da-da-da, right? And then it becomes more difficult. But all we need to do in that second when it's hard is we close our eyes and we breathe in. And all we have to think is, in this moment, I am breathing in. And then as we breathe out, in this moment, I am breathing out. So everyone close your eyes. Breathe in, knowing I am breathing in. And breathe out, knowing I am breathing out. And allow this to be your gift today. And allow it to guide your meditation and prayers this week. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Reverend Judy, for that wonderful message. Before we affirm our offering blessing, I have a brief update about online giving. If you use our online giving app, you might find it looks a little different. Starting Monday, we will get an update. Please know your login information, account information, and recurring information will not change. Just log in as you always would. If you use the Give Plus app, it is being replaced with Banco Mobile starting September 30th. Full details, information, and the how-tos will be on our website beginning tomorrow. And it will also be coming to you in our weekly email blasts. I think you will find this will be a lot easier to use. If you have any problems or questions, you can contact Lori at unityofmesa.org. Now for the offering. We are abundantly blessed at Unity of Mesa. Living the Christ invites us to remember that we are connected to Source and life flows through us. We give as source to what we care about and what we want to see thrive. As we each give our time, talents, and treasures generously, the work we do here prosper. Now, please take your gifts in your hands, holding our gifts in our hands, our hearts and our minds. We dedicate and consecrate these gifts to the greatest expression of spirit through the work of this ministry. Let us affirm together our offering blessing together. Divine love flowing through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. We give thanks for the givers and the gifts. Thank you, God.
I get the honor of singing this beautiful song that Stephen and Becca wrote, Building a Kingdom of Peace. We are separate selves, yet more. We have separate lives, yet share at our core a stable, grounded, silent peace, the kingdom of Christ within us most deep. To help the mustard seed grow, multiply the fishes and loaves. Every small act of compassion helps the kingdom to grow. When the love and the acts we share, our connections do increase. When we abide and act from Christ's love, we build a kingdom of peace. When there are two or more are there, an abiding source that dwells everywhere, a communion to build and foster with care. Creator created and kingdom are there. To help the mustard seed grow, multiply the fishes and loaves. Every small act of compassion helps the kingdom to grow. With the love and the acts we share, kingdom will increase. When we abide and act from Christ's love, we build a kingdom of peace. Like the singers of a choir, each voice ringing out, raising higher and higher the voices of God. We sing best together, Christ's love keeping time, measure by measure. to help the mustard seed grow. Multiply the fishes and loaves. Every small act of compassion helps the kingdom to grow. When the love and the acts we share, our connections do increase. Then we abide and act from Christ's love, build a kingdom of peace. Then we abide and act from Christ's love, we build a kingdom of peace.
Thank you. Thank you for your creativity and your willingness to share. For those of you who are here today, the garden, the family room, and the bookstore are all open for fellowship, shopping, or both. And for you, those of you out there in internet land, I know I don't look at the camera enough, but when I look at the camera, I can't see anything but bright lights in my eyes. So I see you out there. I know you were out there. Thank you for being with us. And chaplains are planning a special day on September the 9th, only they don't know it yet, for a Unity World Day of Prayer. It's slipping up on us really fast. And today they are available for one-on-one prayer and can be identified by their blue and white stole. So we've got Sharon and we've got John and we've got a couple other people who have prayed with people before. So just holler if you would like prayer too, with a struggle or with a celebration. Have a blessed week, everyone, and get rid of those wobbles. Bye-bye. Oh, yeah, we've got to pray again. I'm so glad. Thank you, Dennis. It's just been one of those mornings. What can I say? Okay, here we go. Let's stand up. Then you can walk on. So together, the light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. And the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. Thank you all. Thanks for the reminder. It's time for me to get out in nature. The boat's in the car. I'm going paddling.